Hey guys, I'm about to do a video that might not be so popular with a lot of other heating and air guys. It's sort of a, little bit of a debatable subject, but I think once I give you the rundown here, you'll see why I feel the way I do. The question was, I actually had someone reach out to me and the question was, hey, my system is iced up. My evaporator coil is just a block of ice, and the contractor basically just turned off my system, left me hanging for the night, and told me they would be back tomorrow. And their question was, is that normal? Like, what's the deal here? Here's my take on that. There are companies that it's basically a policy of theirs. They don't want to waste any time. They get there, the coil's iced up, they'll shut down the system, and they'll just leave you hanging for the night. They'll just leave it be so it can defrost overnight, and then they'll be back tomorrow to actually work on the system when air can pass through their unit and they can diagnose it properly. I would go far enough to say that 85% of the time, they should be able to thaw that coil for you and at least diagnose the unit for you right there on the spot. Does it take longer to do that? Yes. I can't say that Griffin Air has never done that. I can't say that. But I can say that usually we don't do that. We don't leave folks hanging, especially considering I'm in Virginia where we have mostly heat pumps and we can put that system in defrost mode and thaw that coil out pretty quickly, in less than an hour for sure. Or if there's a furnace there, then we can just turn the furnace on and that can thaw out the coil pretty quickly. So that's why I say 85% of the time, you should be able to get that coil thawed. Now, that other 15% of the time, there are exceptions to every rule. One reason I can think of just off the top of my head is if the contractor is super busy. He's got other appointments to keep and he's honest about it. He just tells you, look, I've got other appointments to get to. I've got 5 other service calls today. I just simply do not have the time or man hours. If that means I lose your business, I totally understand, but I cannot sit here and wait for this thing to thaw out. That might be one reason. Another reason might be if you have a straight AC, so it's not a heat pump, and it's matched with, say, some sort of air handler or blower module or just some sort of setup to where there is no form of heat, and then the house is just simply not warm enough to turn the fan to the on position and try to just continue to blow warm air across there. I would still say that even in instances like that, even if the contractor's super busy, if it's pretty warm in your house, like if it's well above 72 degrees, they should be able to flip that fan to the on position and have that warm air blow across that coil while they go run another call, if that makes sense. Then maybe they might come back to you and then the coil should be thawed out enough to diagnose. Again, I'm sure there are guys out there that might disagree with me, and I'm also sure that there are instances that they might think of that I'm not covering right now, instances that, you might not be able to thaw it out right there, Johnny on the spot. But I think ultimately, the majority of the time, they should be able to take a moment, get that coil thawed out, don't leave the customer hanging. There are companies out there that they'll just do that. That's their policy. If they get there and the customer's been running their AC, even though something was wrong with it, and now it's a block of ice, they will make that customer pay for that in a sense. They'll almost kind of punish them by telling them, oh, well, we'll be back tomorrow. You're just going to have to suffer through the night because you decided to continue to run this even though it was iced up. And the reason I know that is because I've seen it. I've seen it online where guys will say on Facebook, some of these heat and air groups, they'll post pictures of it and be like, look how iced up this coil was. I told them, I'll see you tomorrow. And I cut it off. So right or wrong, that's what I've seen. And I'm just letting you know, again, this might not be a popular opinion, but I can tell you that me personally, I could get you thawed out, especially if it's a heat pump or there's some form of heat there, like a furnace. I could get you thawed out pretty quickly, definitely less than an hour. In some cases, minutes. Get you thawed out in minutes and get you diagnosed. And even if that means, depending on what I found wrong, it might mean that I'm not going to get you fixed that day. I've at least diagnosed it. You're not going to have to wait 24 hours for me to come back and then diagnose it. I'm beating them by 1 day. And I'm nothing great. So if I can do it, they can too, if they just have the will. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? So the last thing I would probably just throw out there is, yes, I have grabbed a heat gun before. You know, I know some guys will use torches sometimes. I've never done that before, but I've always had a heat gun on my service truck, and I've grabbed my heat gun before and thawed out a coil for one reason or another. So anyway, I hope that helps. Hopefully that might make you discern a little bit in a situation and get your AC fixed pretty quick. All that said, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.